You're watching Phillies Postgame Live, presented by our friends at Cure Auto Insurance, along with Ruben, Amaro Jr. I'm Michael Barkann. Ben Davis standing by from Rogers Center in Toronto. Let's just tell it like it is. We always do on this program. This Phillies team is in real trouble. They've lost 4 straight. They have not lost 4 straight since part of a 5-game losing streak, end of May, beginning of June, which led to the firing of Joe Girardi. That's how bad it is for the Phillies at this point. They are sputtering at this time into the All-Star break with 3 games remaining, a game and a half back of that last wild card spot. Going to be 2 games back because St. Louis is 5-0 up on the Dodgers in the 5th inning. That's going to happen, you got to figure. So they're going to be 2 games back of a wild card spot when they were just 2 games up. Ruben, your impressions on Zach Wheeler and him faltering tonight when we thought that was an impossibility, and this lineup, 2 hits, Bryson Stott and Nick Castellanos, and that's all.
Yeah, not a lot of positives here today, Michael. There's no question about it. They're not playing great baseball. They're starting to really miss some of their boys, their big boys in the lineup. Segura not being in the lineup. Harper, Real Muto, obviously not able to be in Toronto. Harper, I mean, you're talking about some very, very good players who are not playing for him right now. They're not swinging the bats very well, and you got to give Ross Stripling some credit for what he did. He really pitched very well, but it's not a great sign for them to be sputtering in, as you said. And again, I mean, this is one of those games. This is the second time they've gone to that 2-game series and lost and got swept by both times, once in Texas, here in Toronto. That's not a great sign. It looks like they almost, in a lot of ways, it seemed like they were kind of mailing it in some ways, especially when they scored a couple of runs against Zach Wheeler. It was almost like they shut it down, and that's not a great sign.
No, it's not. Let's go to Ben Davis now at Rogers Center. Called tonight's game with Tom McCarthy. Ben, calling it like it is, telling it like it is. You can't win games with a AAA lineup. It's no disrespect to the Phillies lineup. It just is what it is. They had to recall guys because of injuries, because of COVID, etc. And now they are paying for it to the tune of 4 straight losses. What did you see tonight or not see?
Well, I just saw some Stripling was good, but the approach, 23 strikeouts in the last 2 games. That is not going to get it done. I know they're missing some pieces, but Bryson Stott was really the only guy that I saw that had any kind of approach in these last couple games. I know he was successful, you know, in his at-bats here at the Rogers Center, but just not a whole lot of good approaches. Took too many fastballs and swung at too many breaking balls overall. Zach Wheeler just did not see that coming tonight. I just thought he would go out there and shove like he always does. It didn't happen, and unfortunately the Phillies came out on the losing end.
Hey, Ben, I'm not real big proponent of mixing up the lineup all that much, but in this situation, when you're seeing very little production out of these guys, do you think it may make some sense to mix things up and to move guys around the lineup to try to see if they can get things going?
I think you're almost kind of forced to right now, Ruben, because we're seeing the results, and they're not getting good ones. And, you know, the problem is there's not a whole lot of options there. I know they're going to get JT back, hopefully get Bone back with that dislocated finger that he sustained in St. Louis the other day. Maybe and he was hot as could be, was Alec Boehm. Maybe get these pieces back, maybe switch it up a little bit more, but I think you're almost forced, you're going to force Rob Thompson's hand to do so and change that lineup up because they're not getting any production right now. They need to make the change and make it quickly.
Lastly, Ben, the plan for Castellanos was, I mean, he's been a right fielder or a third baseman in his career. I think the plan was maybe to DH him, which went away with Bryce Harper's injury, but he is in right field. He's too slow to play the position. His arm strength is average at best, and so that is a double whammy against him, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it is what it is, Michael. I mean, he's probably not going to win a Gold Glove out there, but as he continues to work, he continues to play long toss every day with Paco. You know, getting better jumps on balls is obviously something they would like him to do. And, you know, maybe just start driving the baseball a little bit more. I think they're really, really waiting for him to kind of snap out of this. There are 3 months or 2.5 months left in this. Maybe he does snap out of it at some point. But defensively, just, you know, catch the ball when it's hit to you. I think that's all they can ask of him right now.
Bottom line, thanks, Benny. I know it's been a tough one in Toronto. Thanks so much.
Thanks, Ben.
We'll check you in Miami.
All right,
Ben
fellas.
Davis joining
Ruben,
us.
safe travels.
You got it. Thank you very much, Ben. We'll take a look at the wild card standings in the National League now. The Cardinals are a game and a half up on the Phillies and the Giants. The Giants won. So the Phils with the loss, they are going to slide further back. The Giants are going to tie them up likely. And the Cardinals are going to go 2 games up on the Phillies, Ruben.
Yeah, I mean,
because they're going to win.
I mean, the Cardinals have not been playing very well, but all of a sudden, they won the last 2 games of the series against the Phils, and then they've kind of catapulted themselves forward. They have a much better team than we saw in St. Louis. I don't get too wrapped up in these standings at this particular moment. What I care about right now is it's about their own play and how they are playing. I don't like the outfield defense. I don't like the way the guys are moving in the outfield all that much. I think that obviously they're not swinging the bats the way they're supposed to be swinging them. They are without a whole ton of people in that arsenal, unfortunately. They don't have a ton of guys that they've been counting on. There's like 4 or 5 guys. I mean, half their lineup's almost gone with Segura, et cetera, out of it. And that's a problem. Hopefully they can get back and they can hold on to things long enough for them to kind of stay in this thing so that Dave Dombrowski can make a move and try to make them a little bit better. Right now he's got a tough task because you're sitting there with a whole bunch of guys that are on the DL. You're not sure what your real need is. Pitching always seems to be the need, and he's kind of in one of those situations where I got to wait to see exactly what it is that I do need and who's going to be back on my roster and playing effectively.
At this point, let's get some bats in there for the Phillies because this is the 6th straight game that they've scored 3 runs or fewer. In fact, they're averaging 2 runs per game, 12 total runs in the last 6 games. We'll take a timeout. We come back. What does interim manager Rob Thomson have to say, having managed 2 games in his homeland? We'll check in a moment from Toronto.
Well, they worked him pretty hard. He ended up throwing 90 pitches in 4 2/3 innings. But what was it? The 3rd inning, leadoff walk, hit and run, ground ball out, and then actually made a pretty good pitch on Guerrero, and he just kind of one hand, the ball barreled it up with one hand and muscled it out. The Hernandez home run, he's trying to go sinker in. He may have left it up just a little bit, and he got the barrel to it. But he started off really good. He was throwing the ball well, and just started missing locations, it looked like.
So did you see it more as like a locating problem? Because it seemed like his velo was the same as it normally
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
Sure. And the offense, obviously Bryson had his 2-run home run, but
Yeah.
aside from that, it was pretty solid.
Yeah, there wasn't
tonight.
much going on. Cassie hit that ball hard right center field, which was good to see, and Nerling continues to have pretty good bats. But the off days a lot of times come at the right time, and I think we'll get an off day tomorrow and reset and come back on Friday and look to win a series against Miami.
The offense has been pretty quiet lately, just in general. Do you see any reason for that, or is it just kind of a baseball thing?
I think it's a baseball thing. There's ebb and flow to the season, and we're not scoring runs right now. So maybe this off day will help. We'll come out, be fresh, and get some runs.
With Bryson, a little bit of a surge there, and the offense kind of quiet. How important is it to have that guy that's still producing despite the slow?
Well, he's been having good at bats for a while now, and he hasn't had a lot to show for it. But he's seeing a lot of pitches. He's not chasing. He's now hit a couple home runs here in the last few days, but he's barreling out balls. Hasn't had much to show for it, but he's had good at bats. And when he's taking pitches and seeing pitches, and not chasing, that's his game. That's when we know that he's a guy.
And then with Wheeler, this is rare for him to struggle this much. I don't know if you had a chance to talk to him at all, but what's the mentality, with the guy? Obviously, he's a pro, but
oh yeah, and he's a competitor. He wants to win, and he expects to go out there and go deep into games every time out. So he's probably a little disappointed, but I'm sure his next start he'll be right back at it. He'll be ready to go.
And talking about this off day and it coming at the right time, how do you reset and try to finish off strong before the All-Star break?
Well, I think it's just rest and recovery. These guys have been grinding for a long time, and it's just it's a new day. Get rest, and then start off with Miami, and it's in our division, and it's a big series, so we go get them.